All right, this time I would like to call to order the Thursday regularly scheduled Beauregard Parish School Board meeting to order. First task that we have is Mr. Anderson, principal of East Beauregard High School, is going to lead us in a prayer and pledge. Mr. Jason Anderson, please.
Please stand. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight, thanking you with all your many blessings that you bestow upon us each day. We'd ask that you be with all the board members and supervisors tonight. Give them the wisdom and the knowledge as they make decisions for our schools, our teachers, and our students. We pray that you be with all of our teachers around the parish. Equip them with the knowledge and wisdom they need to make our students academically successful in the classroom and in life. We ask for your mighty hand of protection on all of our schools, as in today's society we need that now more than ever. Once again, please be with all parties tonight as they make decisions, and give everyone traveling grace home. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So Miss Lafitte next to me nudged me and said last month did it in 40
I
minutes.
did this in 40 minutes. Game on.
I'm just going to say she's better than me. So first item on the agenda, item 1. Well, first of all, we need a motion to accept the agenda. Everyone has a copy of the agenda. So I hear a motion to accept the agenda.
So made.
Mr. Redler, a second. Mr. Thibodeau. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Item number 1, to consider adopting the minutes of the January 23rd, 2023 special meeting of the Beauregard Parish School Board as published in the official journal. The meeting minutes were in your packet. Anybody have any questions, additions, or anything of the sort? A motion to accept those minutes.
I'll make a motion to accept those minutes as written.
Here. Mr. Shirley, second. Ms. Lafitte, making the motion. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 2, consider adopting the minutes of the February 9th regular meeting of the Beauregard Parish School Board as published in the official journal. Again, have you received your minutes? And if so, is there a motion to accept them? Mr. Sandiford?
Second.
And Ms. Weldon? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I will abstain, Ms. Archer, due to absence. Item number 3, to hear the superintendent's report.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to recognize student representative to the board, Ms. Kinsey Heller, to give our.
Good evening. I'm happy to announce that the month of February has been busy and full of fun. So at this time, I would like to bring you the February report. Mardi Gras is a big part of the culture of Louisiana. So to celebrate that, the elementary schools around the parish held their own version of celebrations. This included hallway parades, decorating poster boards, and some classes even made colorful masks. East Beauregard Elementary had a royal tea party to close out their units on Kings and Queens. The principal, Mr. Weldon, and assistant principal, Miss Bradford, played the role of king and queen while the students were the princes and princesses. The special guest, Sylvia Masters, otherwise known as Miss Louisiana, joined in on the party and took pictures and shared her crown and sash with students throughout the school. East Beauregard Elementary will also be celebrating Read Across America with 3 weeks of activities. These activities will include a local author and Miss Teen Louisiana visiting to read to the students. Lastly, they will also be hanging and dedicating 3 new hand-painted murals in their breezeway. At Carver, faculty and staff members successfully completed the Stop the Bleed training to help prepare themselves to respond in emergency situations. Carver students were taught about conflict resolution and anti-bullying strategies when Harvey Rabbit visited. East Beauregard High is happy to announce their football field house now has a roof on and work can begin on the interior. East Bow sent 13 students to the state literary rally at LSU, while the senior beta members attended the annual convention in Baton Rouge. Pinewood Elementary is busy planning for Space Odyssey. The theme this year is Mission to Mars. The students will begin the morning by constructing a model of a rocket to get to Mars. They will then design and build life pods and will be able to enter and exit these pods. The next project will be to create a Mars colony model. The students must use their knowledge of science to create a miniature habitat that takes into account everything that is necessary for life on Mars, such as a sustainable food source, water supply, and power supply. Finally, the students will build a Mars rover. Maryville has taken steps in bettering their school with the help of Student Council. They have taken on several projects to improve the school building. Maryville theater students qualified for state on March 4th at LSU. Maryville is planning to hold a dragster competition, allowing the students an opportunity to build and decorate their own wooden cart race. South Borgard Elementary has begun their preparations for 3rd grade LEAP testing by starting typing lessons. Pre-K and Head Start registration is now open to residents zoned for South Borgard Elementary. South Borgard Elementary is proud to announce that they are seeing school-wide growth in Devil's Next data. South Borgard High School is preparing for the annual talent show. FBLA is fundraising to go to state on March 26th to 28th. South Bow's art program attended the art exhibition where many students had artwork showcased. Both the Southborough Junior High and high school rodeo team attended the rodeo in Gonzales. In sports, the Lady K's had a successful season attending the semifinals, while the Lady Trojans advanced to the quarterfinals. Around the parish, the spring sports are gearing up. The schools of Borgard Parish will send teams of 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade students to compete in the Borgard Parish Fitness, hosted by South Borgard Upper and South Borgard Elementary. Thank you all so much for your time.
Thank you.
This time, we'd like to hear the Fort Polk Garrison Commander report. We can come back if no one is present for that. At this time, Ms. Jane Hamilton to give us the Head Start Program Administrator.
Good evening to all of you. In your packet, you should see this report. For the sake of time, I will not read the report in its entirety, but I will point out some highlights. Just so you know that at the very top, just to point this out, a requirement for our governing body and policy council is to participate in training regarding Head Start. The following report is also to serve as partial training. You will see that this is our budget that's listed on here, and on the budget, our budget year is not in sync with the school districts. So Head Start's budget is from February 1 to January 31. So you will see the beginning totals as this is the beginning of our budget year, February 1. We have program operations, we have training and technical assistance, which is for training, and then you will see the other figures there. In regards to personnel, we conducted interviews on February the 9th, and the position for co-teacher was filled by a certified teacher, Brittany Hill. This was at K.R. Hanchy, and her first effective day was February 27th. In regards to program enrollment, the seat that was reported vacant last month in the 3-year-old class at South Beauregard Elementary was filled on February 27th. As of March 1st, another student withdrew from South Beauregard, and that seat was filled today. Coordinated enrollment is taking place in our parish. As was mentioned earlier, the enrollment for pre-K Head Start opened on March the 1st and continues through March 25th for the 23-24 school year. And as a reminder, Head Start is located in 2 schools. 1 3-year-old class is at SBE. 3 classes are at K.R. Hanchy. The K.R. Hanchy classes are composed of 1 3-year-old class and 2 4-year-old classes. Just as a reminder, to be eligible for Head Start, the family has to meet income guidelines, receive SNAP benefits, be deemed homeless, or be fostering a child. However, there is a 35% of the population that may be from the 130 federal poverty level category, and 10% may be over income. Attendance, our goal is to maintain at least 85%. and attendance and the 4 classes average this month was 87. In regards to training, the federal government requires that Head Start training for the school board and policy council as governing bodies. Currently, I'm in contact with Head Start liaison from the collaboration office at the Louisiana State Department in regard to providing formal training. And we are in the process of securing potential dates. We also have training scheduled for our family services coordinators, and we have contracted with Winona Fobb at Children's Village. That was a former federal monitor, and she has subcontracted with Mark Davis, who his biography is listed there, and I won't read all of it. It is extensive, but he also was a former federal monitor as well. In our Health Services Advisory Committee, we had our annual meeting Friday, February the 24th in the Head Start Administration Office, and they were served lunch. The agenda included the creation of the mitigation policy for COVID-19 as a result of the universal masking requirement being removed. The committee members present were Dr. Thomas Dobbins, an internist and pediatrician, Dr. James Shirley, general dentistry, pediatrics, Mr. Mark Iflin with counseling and neurotherapy, Ms. Andrea Ferguson, an RN, and our nursing coordinator for our parish, Mr. Zach Shirley, our community representative and president of the Policy Council, Reverend David Free, a parent representative and vice president of the Policy Council. Also, it's my responsibility to give you information when we have information memorandums or program instructions that is trickled down from the federal government. The one that we received this month, of the month of February, is a Head Start funding increase. The program instruction primarily provides information about COLA. COLA is a cost of living adjustment and a quality improvement funds available to all Head Start grant recipients, and each grant recipient will be allocated an amount of quality improvement funding proportionate to the federally funded enrollment, which would equate to about $280 for each Head Start funded enrollment slot. Each grant recipient may apply for COLA increase, which this year it is a 5.6%, and the fiscal year 22 base federal funding level. The base funding excludes training and technical assistant funds and any one-time funding received from the fiscal year 22. Just in conclusion, I would like to thank all of you for your continued support of the Head Start program. I'm a firm believer that together we make a difference. Together meaning all of us and the financial resources that are potentially available through the federal, the state, and local governments. It is my belief that when we provide early intervention, this potentially can have long-term effects on the success of children as they proceed through their upper grades and as adults. In my opinion, that successful adult in turn strengthens our community. So the best gift we can give a child is a Head Start in life.
Thank you, Ms. Hamilton.
Ms. Hamilton, can I ask a quick question? I see on the coordinated enrollment in your summary that that we have at KR we have a 3-year-old class, a single 3-year-old class, 2 4-year-old classes, but at South we have a single 3-year-old class. What happens to that gap? Do we have a pre-K4 program at South Boulevard?
Yes, we have several pre-K classrooms there. One is an LA4 funded program, and the other are reverse mainstream classrooms that are all four-year-old programs, and then the one 3-year-old Head Start class.
Okay. Yeah,
So
I
they
just
are
wanted
being
to,
serviced.
okay, I didn't want to, we got them here at 3-year-old, then they got to go home for 4 and come
No,
back at 5. So.
They have opportunities to progress to the pre-K program for
Great.
the 4-year-olds.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
We have one contract renewal this month. Ms. Megan Martin, Assistant Principal, South Boulevard High School, will be renewed using the standard board-approved 2-year contract. This time, on the superintendent's report, I'd like to recognize Mr. DeWitt Carrier, State Representative, District 32.
Thank you. Well, I heard there was a few new faces here, or maybe a lot of new faces. And I think some of you guys know me, some don't. I know Garrett very well. But I want to come by and just introduce myself and let y'all know that some of y'all are in my district, Some of y'all aren't in my district, but y'all all my people, and I want to take care of y'all. I want to be y'all's representative. I've got to give a shout out to, y'all probably have the best senator in the state of Louisiana, and Mike Reese. We work very well together, and you guys all have my cell phone number. Give it to anyone that wants it, and I'd love for y'all to come to Baton Rouge. I think y'all need to come visit, and where people can see y'all and put money with a face. We've talked about that earlier, so I've got to go to Quincy to a little chamber meeting banquet, but I want to come by and say I'm here for y'all. Y'all pick up the phone and call me anytime. And Ray, y'all call me and we'll get together this week or whenever.
Well, I greatly appreciate you coming by.
Yes,
So,
sir.
it means a lot.
Thank you.
We don't get this kind of presents very often.
Thanks, Steve.
Mr. Carrier.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Carrier. This time, we would like to recognize the Beauregard Parish Students of the Year. Ms. Carrie Evelyn.
Good evening. I have the honor each year of coordinating the Beauregard Parish Student of the Year program. The State Department of Education hosts this program annually to recognize outstanding students in our schools. Students are selected from 5th, 8th, and 12th grades, and they must have maintained a 3.5 grade point average or higher over the course of 4 consecutive school years. They must be active in school and community activities and be involved in leadership positions for their school and their community. They have to participate in a timed writing assignment as well as a 15-minute interview at each level of the program. They also must compile a 50-page portfolio to document their activities and involvement. Each school in our parish with these grade levels selects a student to represent that school as the Student of the Year. Those students then participate in our parish level program. And this year, the Department of Education revamped the entire program and added a level of competition, which they called the zone level. And all 3 of our Beauregard Parish students advanced to the zone level, and then 2 of ours advanced to the regional level, which took place in late February. Tonight, we are here to recognize our 3 Beauregard Parish Students of the Year, and each of these young ladies exemplify the best qualities of a Student of the Year. I've asked representatives from their schools to come to introduce them to you because they know them best and will be able to share with you why they were selected as Student of the Year at their school, and you will then understand why they are also representing us as the Beauregard Parish Student of the Year. Ms. Dixon will introduce the Beauregard Parish Elementary Student of the Year from Pinewood. Ms. Sibley will introduce the Beauregard Parish Junior High Student from Maryville, and Ms. Wingate will introduce the Beauregard Parish High School Student of the Year from DeRitter High School, and they will come in that order.
I'm very excited to be here. My name's Debbie Dixon. I'm the principal at Pinewood Elementary, and I am ecstatic to be able to introduce to you and let you get to know a little bit about Annabelle Parmley. Annabelle, come up here. I want them to see you. Annabelle Parmley is a 5th grade student at Pinewood Elementary, where she participates in Science Explorers, Book Club, Student Council, and Beta Club. Her interests are dance, reading, music, going to church, drawing, and doing arts and crafts. In her spare time, she takes tap, ballet, jazz, and tap at Dance Stop Studio and is a member of the Cajun Cuties clogging dance team. She is a member of the lead team at First Baptist Church in DeRitter, where she enjoys spreading the word of God to our community. Annabelle has also been involved in such sports as swimming, basketball, softball, golf, where she qualified as drive, chip, and putt regional qualifier in 2022. Annabelle competed, qualified, and advanced for the Louisiana Student of the Year competition at the school, district, zone, and regional level. According to her teachers, Miss Allison Shirley and Miss Monica Willis, Annabelle is a natural-born leader. She is looked up to and admired by all of her peers. We're very proud of your accomplishments. Annabelle is the daughter of Brad and Megan Parmley, the sister of two brothers, Michael and Sam, and the granddaughter of Eric and Teresa Parmley and Rusty and Susan Reeves. The 5th grade Parish Student of the Year, Miss Annabelle Parmley.
Do she coach? Do she coach?
No, stay. Everybody stay.
She got it. Sit down.
All right, now, any teachers, parents, everybody, file in. Family.
Come on, Grandma.
Whatever, Mr. Holly. Look this way and just keep smiling because I think there's several phones behind me too, right?
Good evening, I'm Patty Sibley. I'm the high school counselor at Maryville High School. And on behalf of our principal, Mr. Johnny Metz, I have the honor of introducing Miss Avery Canoyer. Avery is the 14-year-old daughter of Mandy and Michael Canoyer. She's in the 8th grade at Maryville High School, and she represents our school and community well. Avery excels in athletics as well as academics. She has held a starting position on the varsity basketball team and varsity track team since the 7th grade. Among her many athletic accolades, she has been named the 2nd team All-District among the semifinalist basketball team in 2022. And she was also named the All-Beauregard Parish Newcomer of the Year in 2022. Avery also qualified for the state track meet in the 100-meter hurdles last year. Avery is a member of the First Baptist Church of Maryville, where she is active member of the youth group. In her spare time, she often volunteers for church outreach and community events through First Baptist Church and the River Church of Maryville. Avery's performance in the classroom and extracurricular activities is commendable. She is an outstanding student and has a very bright future. MHS is so very proud of the Beauregard Parish Middle School Student of the Year, Miss Avery Canoyer.
Last one.
Mom, Dad, you wanna get in there? Go ahead. Come around. Our principal's not here, let me ask.
Good evening, board members and community. My name is Carmen Wingate, and I'm an assistant principal at DeRidder High School, and I'm honored to present the Beauregard Parish High School Student of the Year, Ashlyn Graves. Ashlyn, can you come up here? DeRidder High School is very proud to have this young lady represent our school and parish. She is a deserving candidate. This student worked hard at every turn and made it all the way to the regional levels of the competition. She has all the accomplishments that you would expect of a Parish Student of the Year. Excellent grades, outstanding GPA, advanced placement courses, dual enrollment courses, leadership positions, superb communication skills, extremely high test scores, and multiple participation in school and community activities. However, that is not why this young lady was chosen. Her teachers can describe her best, and this is what they say about her. She is willing to sacrifice her time for others. She has a positive attitude and a smile on her face. She is an absolute joy to have in the classroom. Her favorite question is why, because she wants to learn all she can about how things work. She inspires others. She seeks ways to see that the needs of others are met. Her light shines brightly wherever she goes. She encourages others to be the very best version of themselves. She is a model student. These are the qualities that made this student stand out among the rest. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to present to you the high school Beauregard Parish Student of the Year, Miss Ashlyn Graves.
Mr. Bowman, board, and to conclude tonight's superintendent report, I'd like to read the following. The Ritter Junior High was recently awarded a $50,000 grant from Next Era Energy. Ritter Junior High School awarded $50,000 STEM classroom makeover grant. Ritter Junior High School has been awarded a $50,000 classroom makeover grant from Next Era Energy Resources through its charitable arm, Next Era Energy Foundation, to improve technology, equipment, and resources as part of a continued commitment to science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, or STEM education. STEM Classroom Makeover Grant is part of the Foundation's Racial Equity Initiative intended to provide transformed learning opportunities for students in a classroom setting. Company representatives will join DeRidder Junior High School and community leaders to present students and teachers with a donation. DeRidder Junior High School will use the funds to design a dedicated science laboratory for students to learn and investigate real-world practices. You are cordially invited to join school officials and company representatives for a check presentation this Tuesday, March 14th at 9 a.m. That concludes the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. Holly. Where'd the crowd go? All right, item number 4, to consider adopting a resolution concerning Act 170.
I got everybody a copy but myself. Good evening, everybody. Please consider the resolution. I'm going to read it for verbatim. Whereas Beauregard Parish School Board has been determined to be eligible for assistance in the amount of $500,000 through Act 170 of the 2022 regular legislative session of the Louisiana Legislature. Now, be it resolved that during a regular meeting on the Beauregard Parish School Board, at which a quorum was present and voting this 9th day of March, 2023, the Beauregard Parish School Board does hereby grant the authority for the interim superintendent of schools to sign all applicable documents pursuant to securing these grant funds for the purpose of the installation of an oxidation pond at Southville High School. Any questions on that?
Yeah. I mean, you may have it. It's the installation of an oxidation pond?
Is it the installation and the repairs?
The removal.
This is
yeah.
is the reading of it.
We just have
on
to
the
do what it says.
legislation. Yeah, it's just giving
okay.
not me, I'm sorry, Mr. Holly, the authority to sign the paperwork for the Act 170.
I think Mr. Green's on, that might be the wrong word used here at the end, installation of oxidation pond. It should be,
We can change it. Is it installation? Is it the building? Is it?
no,
thought it was
it's
supposed
gonna
to
be
be
removal.
Removal.
Removal
Okay.
of oxidation pond. We don't want another one.
Yeah. we're trying to get rid of that
I don't
one.
even know what this is. I'm a northern girl. We don't have these things up north.
There's 50 years of gunk in that thing. but we do not want another one.
Everything is underground up north.
Is that what you were gonna bring up? Or you
It
gonna bring
didn't
up something?
sound right. I didn't have it in front of me.
Okay, so we want to change that word to removal.
We do need to change it
Okay.
to removal. So, Ms. Lafitte and I spoke with someone yesterday. We're hoping to maybe get some more funding for this. Since it's on the, I don't want to hold that from anybody. And that's not certainty, you know, it might not happen. We probably ought to plan for it to not happen, but we're gonna attempt to try to get some more money. I know that was one of the items we talked about on potential bond too, so. But yeah. Mr. Holly, do you have any questions? I mean, you're good with
Yes,
when
and
this is
Ms.
ready?
Carpenter and I began the drafting of that letter for the request for additional funding due to price increases in labor and materials.
And just to be
Anybody-
clear, it's not in use at all right now. We're using the sewer plant down.
No, we are using it.
So okay, so
Yeah. So there is sewage going in it right now. So I think what a lot of the cost is putting in a processing plant.
okay, so we'd have to
Correct.
add the processing plant. Okay.
Yeah. Which is, you have to do something with all that. So,
Right.
so all the sewer comes from the lower elementary, upper elementary, high school. The pump that you're thinking of, there's a pump behind the baseball field. They pump the sewer from the lower elementary
live.
all the way up to that pond.
See, I didn't know any of this.
Yeah.
Or probably
I asked yesterday.
If we can't remove it, we would like to request at least some type of water feature.
There's one on the side road. If you watch certain times of the day, it does come out of the pipe good.
Yeah.
But it's not, public don't see it.
There used to be a whole herd of goats that kept it clean over in there. Just
Don't tell the
that's
EPA.
that's a long time ago. Long time ago.
Any questions about the resolution?
I'll get that changed so that you can get that signed whenever you all vote on it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll stay away from the goats. So a lot of resolutions, and it has to be an individual vote. So we're gonna go ahead and do an individual vote just to make sure.
She didn't clarify the gal I spoke to, so I would do an
We're
individual one
just gonna do
so
it
we
just in
can-
case, so.
Sure.
All in favor, raise your hand. Okay, so that is unanimous. So it carries.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, Ms.
I'll get that
Carpenter.
changed, Mr. Bowman.
Item number 5, to hear recommendations from the Discipline Policy Review Committee. 5A is a motion to approve changes to the definitions and vapes portion of the discipline policy. Mr. Johnson.
All right, good evening, everyone. On February 14th, the committee for the Discipline and Dress Code Committee met. I have two recommendations to bring to you for approval that will go into effect next year in our handbook. We need to add in the definition section a clear-cut definition of what after-school detention at the Beauregard Alternative Program is. So I'll read the definition, and if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer those. It is a 1-hour session conducted by the BAP staff consisting of physical exercise and behavioral redirection. This is an alternate method of discipline that is not assigned to any infraction specifically, but can be an option if mutually agreed upon by the school and the parent or guardian. The student's absence is excused, but the classwork is expected to be completed. Transportation is the responsibility of the parent or guardian. You need a little background on what this is? Okay. So, the after-school detention at BAP we've had it for a long, long time. It is from 2:30 to 3:30 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. It is a tool we use to try to keep kids out of the alternative program, to give them a little taste of what the physical side of it might be. It's Sergeant Blake at his best, and if you've ever attended that, it's physical exercise, and they get a lot of motivation. But it's a very effective tool that we use. It has been, like I said, it's been something that we have used. It has never been put down on paper. And why it's coming to you now after 20-something years, because a parent, what happened was this was assigned as a punishment in one of the schools. Well, that's not how that works. So the parent asked some clarification. The parent was right. We backed up, we punted, and we just put it in here. What's important is that it is mutually agreed upon. It does not, you can't punish a kid for tardies for this. This is not a Saturday detention. This is a 1-hour after school at BAP. The second, any other questions?
Just on Tuesday and Thursday, right?
Yes, sir. Tuesday, Thursdays, 2:30 to 3:30. Okay. Our vape policy has changed, as the times have also. Okay, just 6 years ago, we didn't have a vape policy, and it's gotten steadily more needed, unfortunately, as the years go by. This year, we have had a series of students that were found with multiple vapes with lots of cash. This school teacher would be proud to have the cash a couple of these kiddos were walking around with, $200, $300, $400 in cash. So we, looking at this, felt like the distribution where they are making our schools unsafe, they are bringing these things in, and honestly, sometimes it's the high school kids that are getting the junior high kids or even younger to sell the vapes for them, bringing the money. I mean, it's a system. So we've uncovered about 3 of those this year. So what I would like to do, in the committee put this on the docket, is if a student is found to be guilty of distribution, that it goes automatically to the second offense, which would be with me as an alternate placement hearing in this very room right here. It needs some more teeth.
I'm glad to see this, actually, because whenever we talked about this last year or the year before, I had asked why distribution was not considered more of a heavy penalty, but we were going with the video and all that kind of stuff. So I'm glad to see this on here now.
Well, kiddos change with the times. They've seen an avenue, and kind of like anything else we're doing, they're one step ahead of us. So like for everything, we're 1 year behind, but we'll get caught up and get a little teeth in it and make sure the students know that this is a new section, if it passes next year, when they have the handbook walkthroughs at the beginning of each school year.
Mr. Joslin, when you talk about the distributor going to the second offense, are you talking about, you said that there's usually an older kid that uses younger kids, possibly?
Well, I mean, like I said, there is a system, but we are talking about the student that is found with the vapes, that we can prove that they are distributing at their school.
So it could be the younger kid that was doing it for the older?
It would have been this year, yes, sir.
Okay.
And
So
that's the kind of stuff with that system. We turn that over to law enforcement. They're all, as part of they already get a citation for that. Law enforcement is invited into this process. So once we find a vape, it walks hand in hand with our law enforcement. So they can, delinquency to a minor, you name it. I mean,
Yeah,
it's.
they kind of investigate if they were coerced to do it. That's my fear, is that.
Yeah. I mean, that would come through the investigation.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
what I'm asking.
And one thing that I did want to clarify, to put a tag of distribution, that's going to be something that is, especially right now, that I'm going to walk with the principal to make sure that we both agree. Because one of the questions that I got was, okay, well, what if one of my students has 2 vapes, and we go into the bathroom, I take one, he takes one, and we share, that kind of, that's not distribution. We're talking about crossing a line here where you are intentionally bringing this poison into our, to make a profit, to, that kind of deal, so. That's the basis of that.
When there is cash involved.
It was, yes ma'am, it was this time.
Well-
We go someplace nice to eat. Mhm.
I just foresee also you'll have issues where they bring one vape, but they're allowing all of their friends while they're in the bathroom to use it.
Well, that's possession. That's under
But I mean,
possession.
but it's still, they're still allowing multiple people, so they would skirt around the distribution by bringing one, but maybe charging each of their friends to use it.
Oh, well, it's my experience, they don't, they just wipe it off and go. We've had that discussion about that in here, about the cleanliness of that. And so, yes, that's one of the sermons that they get. Because I will not go into where students hide their vapes on them. So. But you can imagine. So it comes as a recommendation from a committee, but it does need a second and a vote.
Is this a one-size-fits-all? Is this subject to every student?
Yes, sir, if it goes in the policy. But again, your administrators have the discretion
Right.
and the wiggle room to, if they see what it is, they won't call for anything more or anything less.
Could I get an example of maybe a past issue that required the after-school detention?
Sure, we have a kiddo at the high school, 9th grader, that just can't seem to get his act straight. And he's on 3 or 4 days ISS. He's already had his school-based hearing. And in that little window, it's like, dude, you're still messing up? We'll give you a little taste of it. So, Mom, if you'll take him to BAP, he can see what it's like to be there for a little bit. Maybe that'll fix him, maybe it won't.
Okay.
It's a deterrent.
Okay. Because I was wondering if it was going to be like okay, you're misbehaving, and then the second occurrence you're misbehaving, then the third one you're going
It's not
for
for,
after
it's not for
school.
any specific.
Okay.
And this, we've had it for 20, and Mr. Insminger here, we've had it forever. It just hasn't been in black and white paper, and we just felt that, hey, first time in that many years, we got called on the carpet at one of the schools. Hey, let's fix it. So we went back to the handbook on that discipline, apologized to the mom, and we're rolling.
Have you ever had a program now, remember with police bureau, we have a little tour through the jail system?
You're way ahead of me, Mr. Archie. We
I was just, you know, we
want to
said the
protect
tour.
our babies as long as we can. Some of them are destined. Some of them are destined. I have to cover. I
I'm
keep
not
pointing.
saying this, but I just
I
wanted
keep
to.
pointing because that's where the chair sit, because that's where we talk. But they get lots of sermons. If you don't change your path, you're going to be 3 blocks down to the east over here.
And the reason why I brought that up, we had programs like that, working with the sheriff and.
Well, the coalition also through the alternative program is very good. Miss Charlotte Satcher Walker, she's phenomenal in her group. They're out of Imperial Hospital.
We need a second?
I
don't
It
remember
comes as
that.
a motion. As a
I
motion.
don't think we
I don't think
don't
it's a second,
first-
just a vote.
We don't. I didn't think so. You mentioned a second.
Since it comes from a committee.
Right, because it does come from a standing committee. There is no motion in second. The motion is actually already there. So at this time,
Mr. Bowman, can I
Yes.
ask, can we just vote on one fell swoop for both of these, or do we need to separate it out?
we're only on 5A. Are you?
Well, there's 2, there's listed as 2 on the definition, so
Okay, so definitions and vapes portion. I'm not following you.
Well, it's under A. You would just need to approve that A, and then you'll.
just
Then
for
go
everything.
to the next
Okay.
But
It's just-
there are 2 items under A, right?
Right, that's what I
Right,
was getting
right.
at. And so, I mean, well, we can do it however.
No,
I
let's
just
do it.
wanted to be clear.
4 off the dress code.
Yeah, let's
so-
take it. Let's take it individually.
So I just want to make sure I write that down correctly. It says definitions, and then the second one was what?
And vapes portion.
Vapes. Okay. All in favor of making the changes to the definitions in the discipline policy? Did I get that right?
Definition portion, yes, sir. That'd be fine.
Please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All in favor of the changes to the vapes portion of the discipline policy, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, 5B, motion. Thank you, Mr. Jocelyn. Motion to approve changes to the school uniform dress code. Mr. Cord, you taking that?
Yes, sir.
All right.
There's four options there. The first one deals with pants, black denim pants to be acceptable. Then under belts, allowing belts to be optional in grades pre-K to 3rd. And then under the shoe category, number 1 would be clock-type clogs with flip-up backs, unacceptable. And the second one, to strike the word "are optional" on socks, stockings, and hose, and put in "must be worn at all times" for grades 6 through 12. I think we probably need to take
Absolutely.
like we did the
Yeah. So let's talk about allowing black denim pants. How close was that vote in the committee? Anybody recall?
11-2.
11-2?
In favor.
Okay. All right.
What was the reasoning?
I never could gather the reasoning for it.
We've had a lot of requests come in to my office. Why can't we, if we wear blue jeans, why can't we wear black jeans? They're really close in color, especially when they're faded. And some of the people on the committee felt like that would be a reasonable thing to do.
Girls gotta have options.
We allow,
I'm kidding. But as a parent, you know, you got blue and, I mean, I think it's just probably optional.
we allow solid khaki and navy blue trousers or pants. But we put last year blue denim. So
What were the two objections?
I just all right.
Go ahead. Can you explain your objection, please?
I can, because I see it already as part of straying away from the guidelines of dress code that we already have installed. And I feel like that's just one more step to eliminating what we already tiptoed the line on.
So no issue with, when I look at it, I think, okay, that's gonna be hard to,
That you can see.
From my viewpoint, it was strictly, that's just one more extra.
okay. Well, you must be a glass half full, because guess I'm glass half empty. That's one less. No, I didn't know if there was any thought of the black jeggings that are worn frequently, not in our schools, if those would try to be slid into the school system, because they look awful similar to black jeans. But I guess that was not an objection in the committee, so. 11-2.
I just think of when I look at the stores, I don't really ever see black denim jeans. I mostly see blue jeans. So that's why I was kind of wondering why this came about all of a sudden.
I do think that we're kind of at a. I'm not a fashionista by any means. That's Miss Christie. But yeah, but you know, I do think that black denim is a little bit more in vogue right now than it was even 5 years ago. And so, will it stick around for 5 years? I mean, you know, so.
I mean, if it had been, if it's an issue, you know, I don't want it to disrupt the classroom, you know, being,
a distraction of any sort. And I think too sometimes that, you know, we labeled it blue jeans, but we all call jeans, they're blue jeans, but the material is a jean material. See, I would, it's strictly, it's a preference, as long as it's not a discipline issue.
Or distraction.
So
Or distraction, yes.
I'm gonna throw this out because, you know, most of the board is new. This is a situation where you can approve the recommendation, you can deny the recommendation, or you can change the recommendation. Because as Ms. Neely was talking, I was going to, well, I see my kids wear white jeans a lot to church. You know, is that, so in theory, you could add white and black jeans if you wanted. So that is
Well,
an
I think-
option.
I
so.
think doing that is proving her point earlier.
No, it is. I'm just,
Yes.
yeah, I'm just explaining, like, you can apply the same principle to
Yeah, logically.
what we're
yeah,
fixing to
it's
talk about
logically
with all these,
consistent,
so.
right.
So when the policy was changed years back, it was changed from the uniform itself to include denim jeans, right?
Yes, sir.
Blue jeans, right? So that was a big difference, right? Now we're going to colors, and that's kind of what you're saying, right? So if we move to that, I would just say remove all colors and just denim pants.
Oh, but they make pink and
They
they
make
make
pink,
purple and then
yeah.
you have the rainbow of colors.
Right.
It said denim.
Mr. Sanford, you
but
need
some-
to, no, don't go
Someone
there.
would come back up,
Yeah.
but that's
Well,
to you,
next
that's
year.
what you're saying, all right? Somebody else is gonna come back up and say, hey, how about this?
Mr. Sanford was picking up what I was putting down.
Yeah. Well, also, just to your point, Mr. Sandiford, is that when the denim first passed, there was actually, we came back and well, what about blue jean shorts at that
Right.
point? And we actually, or a lot of the reasons that we're talking about right now, we squashed that and said, you know, like, no, we're just gonna draw a line in the sand and just say no. So,
But what would be the objection to white pants, or pink pants, or purple pants?
A distraction in a
Distraction,
classroom.
right, that's a distraction.
I guess I can see where
Personal,
black kind of
just
fits in a
personal,
little bit
you know,
better.
opinion.
Right.
Distraction in a classroom.
Right. But if I really liked them, then, you know, personal opinion doesn't,
yeah.
Exactly.
how does that really weigh into my,
Well, it does, and I
right
think
to
it would be
wear 'em?
the discretion of the teacher to how it was disrupting your classroom.
And so then, this is just devil's advocate,
Sure,
you know, so then we get into, well, define distraction, that's subjective to the teacher. I may hate pink pants and be like, and then Mr. Bowman may not care, you know, and so then we could potentially be having issues where, you know, we're having discussions about pink pants, you know, and so, when we, yeah, we're at that point right now, right, so. I mean,
Is it in vogue when you say
I
it?
think what Scott's saying though, if you could default to a more free way of dressing, or we can allow the government to dictate how people dress, and that's kind of your options.
Yeah, we are the government.
You are, yeah.
I know.
yeah, well, yeah, so this will come up again, right? I mean, eventually, so it's, I guess it's a decision that we stop it here, or white will come up next time, and then the
And
pink.
you're right,
and-
you open your
Right, you
door
know.
to a color, and then you're discriminating against the pink and the purple and
Yeah,
the blue,
and-
and
Yeah,
then, so.
What I'm hearing is y'all want to do free dress.
Free
We're not
Mr.
here-
Johnson
Let's not
about
do
fell
that
over
tonight.
back there.
Yeah, let's not do that tonight.
I'm not distracted by the multiple colors that I see in here.
You have a more mature brain than,
I went to school for 13 years with multiple dress.
you're right.
And I
yes, you're right.
graduated, I made it.
That's true.
well, kids, you know, even if it's a certain khaki color, or certain blue jean, kids will identify if it's a name brand or it's not a name brand, right? So there's always gonna be that
Yeah.
Yeah, and they do.
between students and kids, so I mean,
But then we also open ourselves up to, okay, so we're having free dress and they can wear every color. Well, what about our schools that we've discussed that have potential gang issues? Then you have people that are dressing in their colors. And then those that are dressing in the opposite.
I think I know where I stand.
That's just how I think.
So we're gonna have to take it Mr. Ensminger, you might be the most knowledgeable person in the room about procedures, so help me. We have 4 items. We probably didn't do the last one correctly. We have a motion before us, and we have 4 different items that are changes. So from this point, a change needs to be an amendment to the motion. So if there are no amendments to the motion, we're essentially are voting on the entirety of the changes. Does that make sense? Or
So we're
Mr.
not
Green,
voting on
maybe?
these separately, is what you're saying?
Yeah, I would personally prefer, I would prefer to go line by line
Separately.
and do, and amend as needed or approve as, personally, that's the way I'd like to do it, but I'll.
I agree.
with you.
I feel like that's how it came out of the committee,
Okay.
line by line. Yes.
Okay.
We'll go
Each
that.
item was voted on, we voted on every.
You voted on every item, okay.
Anything that came up with the second got a vote.
We'll proceed down this path.
As far as the committee go, on this black denim, let's not forget that the committee was 11-2 in favor of the black.
Right.
Right.
Keep that in the back of your head.
And the committee voted against denim jeans too, to begin with.
Yeah, fun fact.
Yeah.
We all
Like
did.
when we
we
brought blue
voted for
jeans.
Yeah, we're not talking about that, we're talking about this.
I know,
I know,
but I'm
just
saying.
it's just a. But you make a good point. You know, the committee did the work. We should absolutely weigh what they say and consider it.
Well, we're probably not gonna go through all 13 of their, how they come up with that reasoning and that vote.
They're placed on a committee for a reason, just like we were placed here for a reason, so at some point, we have to take that into consideration.
Sure.
Just saying.
So how do we proceed?
So if there is no amendment to black jeans that is going to be presented, then I'm going to call for a vote on black jeans. Sound good?
Yes, sir. It's a up or down vote.
Okay.
All right. All those in favor of allowing black denim jeans into the dress code, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay, so we're going to do a division of the House. We're just going to go by row. We'll start with Mr. Thibodeau.
Yeah.
Say yes. Mr. Thibodeau is a yes.
Yes.
Mr. Redler is a yes.
Nay.
A no.
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 Yes.
Yes.
No.
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 Yes.
Yes.
I vote yes.
6-4. Should it pass?
Passed.
Okay.
Okay. The next item, Mr. Ensminger.
Allow belts to be optional in grades pre-K through 3rd grade.
I said, do you want to share the reasoning, or do you want me to, or?
Go ahead.
What I understood listening to the committee was kids oftentimes have trouble getting the belt off, trying to go to the restroom or other things. There was a lot of talk, should this be 3rd grade? Do we split this through the elementary school, or maybe do we just go to 5th grade just to make it easier? But ultimately, the committee came down to allowing belts to be optional pre-K through 3rd. Does that sum that up? All right.
I would like to amend this for that to be optional for pre-K through 5th. Currently, our school goes through the 5th grade, pre-K through 5th grade for our elementary program. So this would in turn kind of split our school.
Yeah, and a third versus a 4th grader, there's not that much difference. So you're walking down the hall. Where's your belt? Where's your belt? Like it's just that would be pretty after talking with our principal, this was fairly burdensome in his mind, and so he requested for us to consider making it through elementary, optional or discretion of the principal, either way.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Redler. Okay. So South Beauregard Upper, in the past, there has been a carve-out for the upper because the upper is grades 4, 5, and 6. So in the past, the upper would qualify through 6th grade because the elementary through 5th grade for the rest of the parish. I think, is that kind of the consensus that that would be allowed? Do we need an official vote on that?
It's just, you just notated it.
Okay.
Notated in the motion to include upper as elementary status.
You made the motion, so you do.
That's our school, so you cool? Or you understand that?
South Florida Upper.
Okay.
So South Florida Upper again is 4, 5, and 6.
Okay.
Typically, when something is voted for elementary schools, which is usually through grade 5, the upper usually adopts that for all 3 of their grade levels to keep from having what Ms. Weldon was describing. So as long as everybody's clear on that, we don't have to vote on that.
South Beauregard is the only one?
It's the only one, yes, sir. Everybody else pretty much has a junior high. Now, if we had some more funds, we could build a whole new school. We wouldn't have this problem. Okay. So we are voting on a amendment to the motion to allow optional belts for grades up to 5th grade. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, now we are going to actually officially vote on, I know this sounds funny, but we're going to vote on the motion ahead of us. And that is, again, to allow belts optionally up to 5th grade. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, another recommendation from the dress code committee is to not allow croc-like footwear for all students. It's currently acceptable. Mr. Insminger, do you want to expand on this, please?
And the committee said Crocs, but when we got out of the committee, I realized, and I don't own any Crocs, but I realized that people have Crocs that have molded backs on them that are, and the argument is they can flip the strap forward, and then the school's got to look for the strap to make sure it's not a backless shoe. But
What's the concern with one way or the other of wearing them?
the current rule is no backless shoes, just sort of a safety thing, stairways and such as that.
Make sure that they, okay.
It says appropriate footwear with backs or straps, no skate shoes. And the motion came from Drutter High School. They said they were having a lot of issues trying to police that to make sure they had the strap on the back. It still is going to require some policing.
Which bleeds over into the discipline side of it. Because the dress code says a student's given on the spot a chance to correct their dress code. That croc not being worn. Okay, but then the question is, how many times, because you can stop him 7 times a day, you know, he gets, okay, I told you already. So then it kind of bleeds over into willful disobedience. Then on the safety side of it, that's, you know what I'm talking about there, it's just a foam shoe. But I can't say that we've had a lot of croc injuries. So,
Not Australia.
I run down my gravel driveway with this strap, not in all wheel modes. I'm just saying.
So, I mean, is this I'm asking,
yes.
a big, like you've had,
Dress code discipline, yes.
This actually happened in
every day,
committee, yes.
All day.
and you've only had issues at Drutter High
No.
School,
No, they were just most vocal.
for most of both?
So is the concern isn't necessarily, correct me please, that they have an issue with the shoe. It's that when students are wearing the shoe improperly and then it leads into willful disobedience, if not disrespect, that it becomes the
kids know
issue.
they get a free chance. So the line is, and it becomes a frustration from a principal
Sure.
spot. I'm looking at shoes all day long. It just becomes, it just something else principals have to, assistant principals have to be aware of all the time, or they just quit fighting, and then the students win, which happens.
Can I ask what the stipulation is? What is the requirement for it to be classified a shoe with a back on it? Because those are, I mean, I have Crocs, David's got them on now. The backs of them are,
Any kind of strap.
yeah,
Just
just
any kind
the
of strap.
I mean.
Just a strap.
Any model of those.
Yeah, he took the strap off.
Put your strap back on. And I will add this, just for my school, I can't speak to any others. We have kids that don't have the option to get 2 pairs of shoes throughout the school year. I had a child, my son's foot grew tremendously. In the middle of the school year, was having to buy another pair of tennis shoes for him. We have families that can buy these Crocs. Some of y'all don't know how they fit, but they run large. So a family of 4 can buy each one of their kids a pair of Crocs. It's going to last them because they are oversized the majority of their, school year. The kids call it, I don't know, what's 4-wheel driving. They can put it in 4-wheel drive, lock it in, and lock it out. But I see where he's talking that it's not locked in. It's technically, an illegal shoe. But in our, school, our school has no problem with it. They would prefer just for the, economic, for our our families that have large families. But that's just another option to look at in that route.
Also, would be a safety too. You going up and down stairs, don't have it slip and fall, then we'd be liable.
It's got 0 foot protection, but it sure is comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, but say if it ain't secure, somebody trip, fall downstairs.
And we've had, how many of these trip and falls accidents have we
Yeah, I
had?
mean, shoes can be untied and that could happen.
You don't know,
I mean,
right.
if the student's running, and, there's all kind of circumstances that can.
I mean, if you don't tie it,
cause
but if
that,
you don't
yeah.
have it secure in the back, same thing.
So let's get down to the, go ahead, Ms. White.
I was
I'll cut you
gonna
off.
say, I've seen kids step on the back of their regular shoes, their Converse and whatever, and make them into slides. So, and it looked like they're wearing regular shoes, so you wouldn't even know unless you picked up the back of their pants leg.
Listen to the committee on this item. To me, the issue wasn't Crocs. The issue was enforcement. That was the issue. So, I mean, someone can make a motion to allow backless shoes with the exception of during PE or other events like that. And you could solve the issue that way. You could just not grant the request, or we can pass the request.
I think backless shoes would definitely be opening up a huge, I mean, that would.
There's a lot of
It would-
backless shoes.
there's a lot of different
There's
backless
a lot
shoes.
of backless shoes.
Yeah,
Sandals.
flip flops. I mean, or mules. Just all kinds of shoes.
Well, I got an
That could
autistic
be-
kid that I can't hardly get to wear anything but Crocs. And she does not have IEP, and I'm sorry to make it personal, but the people that denied her IEP are no longer here. So that's gone. But she has real issues, and the only thing I get her in is a Croc on most days. And there are a lot of kids like that. So I will make it personal. I told you I would not, as a president, do that. This is the one time that I am.
So tell me what you said our options are. We can.
The easiest thing would be to just deny the,
The 3 options are always the same, though. You can pass, you can vote in favor,
Okay.
you can amend it to change it, or you can vote against it. So that's always our option.
I'm good. I don't have any other questions.
if there are no amendments, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of, Mr. Cord, you have it in front of you. Would you read it exactly?
Croc-type clogs with flip-up backs unacceptable.
Okay, so all those in favor of removing those currently acceptable shoes, please say aye. All those who are opposed?
Aye.
So that's a unanimous opposition. Now the stinky one.
No, literally.
A recommendation, Mr. Cord, I don't want to, you
Okay,
read it.
it says now that 6th through 12th grade, socks or stockings / hose are optional. So we would strike optional and put must be worn at all times. That's the recommendation from the committee.
So socks would be worn for all grade levels, all the time.
6 through 12.
Well, I think it's
Pre-K through 5th, it already says that they must be worn at all times.
Okay.
6 through 12, it wasn't required.
Okay, 6 through 12.
So the committee would like to make it required pre-K through 12.
Might be asking, what brought that on?
The main comment was hygiene.
Yeah.
But, you know, when you take the little socks that are
No
no
show.
shows, I mean, it's hard to determine if they got them on or not.
Right, I was gonna ask, what are you gonna do about, you're gonna ask them to take their shoes off and check?
I don't think that's acceptable.
Do you ask them to take their shoes off?
Would I? No, ma'am. It was a matter of, I want to say PE might be the reason why. The person who brought it up said that it needed to be a problem that was addressed.
As in kids not wearing socks and PE?
The committee member who first brought it up as a recommendation said that, I want to say he was talking about a PE situation. He said we need to make sure that all students across the board are wearing socks.
I would just hate for our teachers to add more to what if they're already having to do, but take off your shoes. I mean,
Yeah.
take off your
Yeah,
socks.
take off
I mean, you have just the socks that just wrap around your toe and your heel. They don't even come up on the sides of your ankle, but,
Yeah, I think it was stinky feet. was the-
See,
I mean, I'm not
yeah, you don't
trying to
even
make
look
light
like
of
you
it,
have
but-
socks on, so I would have to ask you, let me see your socks.
Because of PE, we go through boxes of Band-Aids if
Sure.
students don't have socks on. High school, I can't speak for high school.
Right.
Yeah.
But they are required to have socks on
They are
currently in
required,
the,
I
in the
mean,
book.
again, rules
Okay.
are just suggestions.
So socks are required for PE.
For elementary.
For elementary, I'm not positive they're not required for PE in high school.
I thought they were for high school as well, because I know my daughter said they can't wear their Crocs in gym.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You need to-
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that would, yeah.
Yeah. I was kind of wondering about the stockings and hose being a required thing. I mean, I rarely ever see girls that are in skirts wearing stockings or hose. If it's not really cold out. I don't even think I own any hose anymore.
Mr. Cord? I'm sorry, Nikki, were you done?
No, I'm done.
Okay, all right, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good.
Mr. Cord, the shoes that's on here that you gave us, is this all that there is for shoes in the handbook that's on here? Okay, so in shoes, there is nothing about PE, like nothing requiring socks or unless it's like a school dress code specific to the school. But in terms of like our district calendar, our district handbook, there is nothing specifying shoes for PE, like socks and shoes for PE. I just wanted to point that out.
So there is not.
Not in
Not
this.
in
Not in
this.
this.
Okay.
I mean, I'm thinking if we're addressing the hygiene, then we got a whole nother, things to address. Got armpits and, but.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, in the
Yeah.
classroom, I mean, look, they teach some of the kindergarten teachers, I mean, they're handing out wipes when they're coming in the door and, you know. So, but I understand, is there any way that, I think saying that, could you add, since it's hygiene and they're sweaty and that's where the bad issues come from, that it's required during athletics or PE?
Well, I think we're already requiring a PE uniform, and then, you know, the PE
That would
coach says
fall
where you
under
need
that.
appropriate footwear that you can wear on the
Right.
gym. We don't want black soles marking up the floor. And I think socks are just part of that equation.
Part of that equation.
Instead of putting
Right.
it in the dressing room.
And I agree.
That's kind of how that's why it was surprising when you said it's not in there, because I've always thought that it was
Yeah.
for PE.
That's yeah, it must have. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll say this, I have 6 children. And if I see any of my 6 children without socks on, my whole house smells like a dog kennel. So I could imagine what 20 kids
Yeah.
would smell like in a classroom after PE. You know, so.
These kids kicking their shoes off in class.
It's legitimate. It's legitimate.
No,
Struggle
it
is
is.
real.
It is.
So before we vote on this, for everyone who is a part of the discipline and dress code committee this year, it was by far the most interesting that I've been to since my time on the board. And I commend y'all for all thinking. I mean, for real. Because some people were voting for some of these, some weren't, and then they'd change. And
So
I
what
liked it.
was,
I loved the discussion. It was good.
so what was the vote on this?
I don't know what was the vote, do y'all know?
I want to say it was like a 9-5 or something like that.
Socks pre-K through 12, pass 11-4.
Number 4. Okay. Any other questions before we vote? Or comments? Okay. All those in favor of,
Making socks not optional, must be worn at all times. Grades 6 through 12, socks, stockings, and hose must be worn at all times. That's the motion.
And it was 11-4.
so a yes vote requires socks at all times.
Correct, yes. A no would leave it, the word optional there.
Okay, we're going to try this.
Can I have one more question, sir?
Absolutely,
Because-
please.
Because I want to get a good understanding of if we make it mandatory, the stockings and hose, what does that look like day to day for girls?
I don't really ever see
I don't
stockings for hose unless it's
I was
cold.
wondering the same thing.
My wife
Okay,
sent, my
I'm
wife sent
just,
my.
I'm just asking, like, if it's,
I have no idea.
You see them more in lower grades, you know, the elementary through
So
fifth
they-
grade, not so much. There's hose and stockings, you
So-
know, they are.
so if they wear something that you would normally, I guess, wear stockings or hose, could they wear socks? Yes. That'd be fine. Okay.
All I know is, day before Christmas, my wife sends my kids to the Dollar General store to get stockings for Christmas Eve service. They don't even have a shelf spot for stockings, Dollar General.
But right now it reads optional.
Yeah. Okay, back to the vote.
This is only 6 through 12. Keep that in mind.
Right, it's already required for elementary. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
Okay, well, I thought I had it.
No, yeah.
Wait, we're
All right, so we're gonna do,
opposed to this recommendation.
Yes.
That's what we're doing. Opposed to the recommendation.
Yes.
Yes.
okay, so I will call for a division of the House. We're gonna start with Ms. Neely this time.
Wait, hold on, clarify this.
Okay.
Yeah, what,
So a yay vote means that all students will be required to wear either socks.
So yes is for socks.
And
For
stockings
At all
and
times.
hose.
For
At
all
all
times.
times.
mandatory.
A no would be
All right.
keeping it the same where it's currently optional.
That's what I thought.
Okay.
So
Ms.
what-
Neely,
So clarify that, a no is for
No socks?
It's
Yes,
optional.
socks.
no socks, okay, no socks.
No.
No.
Now I'm confused.
Tell us what you want, we'll help you.
No.
I thought I heard different votes the first.
if you
first time.
vote, yeah.
Didn't I?
I thought I did too, but this is why we divide it.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't wear socks. I don't,
A no vote would mean that there are no changes made to the recommendation, or excuse me, to the current dress code, which allows for socks or not,
Optional.
optional.
So you can still have your kids, they can still wear the socks if it, yeah, okay. got
A
it.
yes vote would now require all 6th through 12th graders to wear.
Or stockings or hose.
I'm gonna start over.
Thank you.
Because
Can I
I'm,
just say no socks?
no socks is no.
No socks.
Yeah, right, no socks, no.
Okay, Miss Neely,
No.
Mr. Shirley,
No.
Miss Weldon,
No.
Mr. Sandiford,
No.
Miss Lafitte.
No.
Boy, this was really close a while ago. Mr. Green,
No.
Mr. Archibald,
Yes.
Mr. Redland,
Yes.
Mr. Kibdo.
Yes for me.
The motion fails. Okay. Y'all just thought it was fun. Item number 6, to hear recommendations from the calendar committee. So there is a motion from the calendar committee for the 4-day and 5-day calendars for the 2023-24 school year. So, Mr. Cord, I'm gonna allow you to speak first to the changes. And then Ms. Neely, I would ask that you interject regarding 4-day, and then Mr. Shirley interject regarding 5-day on y'all's reasoning. And then after they're complete, we'll discuss if needed. So, Mr. Hinsmeter.
I guess I'll give you a brief history. At one time, there was 182 teacher work days required and 177 student days with 360 minutes. So the state went back and they said, we're not going to require the 177 days. I think Beauregard Turner was a pioneer on that, with Singer and Maryville being the 4-day. And so they multiplied 360 times 177 and came up with 63,720 minutes. So that's what we're required to do. And we had kept the 5-day schools at 180 work days. They had 8 either work days or conference days in there. So the students were going 172. So sort of broke that glass ceiling, looked at everything, talked with the committee about it. What if we add 15 minutes to the 5-day schools? That would make them 405-minute days, instructional days, and that would drop teachers from 180 work days to 166. So that still gets our minutes in. That still gives us 4-point-something weather days. The conference days will be / virtual days, so we'll send the lesson out, but the teachers will be free to sit down and visit with parents. We tried to put one after each 9-week period, first, second, third, so we would have those, because there was some requests for, instead of doing it at January conference, what about that third 9 weeks? We're missing that, so that's where that came in. On the 4-day side, we looked at the 2 schedules, and we reduced it from 158 teacher work days down to 153. So that takes 5 off of theirs. And that's leaving it that's putting it at 440. Singer is at 449 instructional minutes. Maryville's at 436. The main difference is Maryville is taking 4 minutes on their class change, and Singer can do it in 3. Some of that's logistics, because most of the Singers in that one hall. The only really classroom besides that is the ag shop back by the cafeteria. Maryville has 2 high school wings, separate home ec building. They built the building across the street. We haven't got in yet, but that'll be a computer lab, cafeteria, library. So there'll be classes moving, and so we came up with a consensus out of the committee that we would go with the 440-minute day, and that would reduce it. We would reduce a full week off. That allowed, and we moved the conference days around There will be no student Fridays. There would be 4 teacher work days on Friday, but there would be no students, and there would be conference days. And hopefully that would allow parents to come in that are off on, those 4-day weeks to come in and visit with the teachers and things like that. So that's the 2 recommendations.
So, Mr. Cord, can you speak to probably what has driven a lot of Maryville and Singer people crazy over the last several years as far as the Fridays?
We were set to keep 158 work days. So we had 8 days in there that were there were 6 work days and 2 conference days. And it was just the status quo. The directive was never start before August 1st. Be sure we're through by Memorial Day and fit it in there. And then to do that with those 8 work days, not counted as instructional days, we had to go some Fridays to make up for it. So that's where the Fridays, and we just, that's how we operated, and with all the changes, we were free to, with y'all's blessing, to try something different.
Thank you. Ms. Neely, do you want to comment on the committee?
Yeah. The teachers had made, they were wanting to address, where all these extra days coming from, the minutes. I mean, they're teachers for, a reason. They are good at what they do, and they understood that there was some things that just didn't, just wasn't right, had been there a long time. And Cord and us and Mr. Shirley sat down and looked, and we tried to compromise and work, and we did this year implement a teacher rep program that I think had been in lots of years. So we compiled information from all the schools and tried to meet in the middle, and with 4-day, and he can speak on the 5-day too. And it just seems to be the best plan. And going forward, if any of the other schools ever, in the future want to go to this, it will be an easier process, an easier transition, is what Mr. Cord has told us. A lot of it, like he said, is logistics. We've got kids that run from one side of the campus to the other. Our junior high has to go all the way across campus to an high school building. With the new building that we just built, we don't even know how that's going to flow yet. We've not got in it. It may add less. It may, take away. So it was just a suggestion that, we met in the middle, and the 440 seemed to work at that time. And, 4-minute transitions works better for us. 3 minutes, I would hate to see my daughter trying to get across campus, a junior high, with 3 minutes time to do it. I mean, it's just tough. Like Mr. Ensminger said, Singers, they transition, and he can speak to it more, they're in one building. When you start moving across campuses and things, this is where it all kind of came down to, was the transition time. I just wouldn't want to do that to any of y'all's kids, to give them 3 minutes to get across campus. So, that's where we came up with that, at that time. And the teachers, my teachers seem to like it. They are starting later. Their summer is starting sooner. They're actually getting their summer back, and they're having, a quality summer where they're just not hitting it and they're right back at school. And it's giving the teachers a break where they don't have to start at the 1st of August, So it's just multiple things, and it's a good start. I mean, we've been stuck in this hole for a long time with this schedule, and, we gave them an option to give us their opinion, and they did, and it was well needed.
Mr. Shirley, any thoughts on the committee, your perspective?
For the 4-day?
Either one.
Are we gonna vote those separately?
Well,
We have,
passed.
yeah, that's what we've done in the past.
Yeah, we will.
Okay.
But I mean, you're on the committee for
Right,
both.
Yeah,
right, right. I'm just-
Kind of more than
I'm
5-day.
just trying to make sure.
Either one. Either one, you're welcome to comment on.
Oh, so we're not gonna go through the 5-day next to discuss?
Well, you're
Because-
Well, I'm just trying to get your
Typically 5 days.
general comments on
Okay,
either one
general
of the
com-
comments,
Yeah.
because you're on the
My
committee.
general comments on the 5-day would be, I viewed this through 2 lenses. If you like 4-day, you want your 3-day weekends. That's why we try to cut off as many Fridays from students coming as possible. Give those vacations, because that's what 4 days is all about. If you like 5-day, I believe you like a longer summer with more minimal vacation time during the school year. So that was the perspectives that I used. The only thing I would say that is a little concerning that I heard a lot of people liked, but it was kind of 50-50 that we might want to look at is the parade day. I heard a lot of people wanted a half day, but if you go a half day and you're a parent like me, you just say, stay home. So you'll run, I think you might run the risk of running up your absentees. So we might look at taking parade day off, or leave it as is on here and go. And the only other vacation days that we might look at is around Mardi Gras. There was a lot of some wanting more than what was on there, so you may take a look at that and decide. But I would say this, I wouldn't extend the school year longer. I would start earlier if we make any of those decisions. Because I think it's May 17th is the last test day.
Correct.
And again, if you start going to school after that and everybody knows it's done, you're just gonna run up your absentee count.
I'm going to speak to the Mardi Gras thing. Again, we asked each school this year to give pick a teacher rep, get their input. There was 2 schools that still showed interest that they liked their Mardi Gras week. So the rest of the schools did not really, on paper, feel like they needed that entire week. So that is why we split it. I think they have 3 days instead of the whole week. I am rethinking that because our school, that's not something that we are, inclined to go do. But I looked at the pictures of y'all's DeRitter Mardi Gras parade, and it looked like something out of Baton Rouge. So I think that is more important than that the data collected reflected after seeing that. I would have never thought that because of, again, the reports back from the teachers, they could have taken or leave it. But when you looked at actually what happened, I mean, y'all streets were filled here. I do think the 3 days was in the beginning a good compromise because they had they had 5 days off. So I'm by more than willing if the board needs to, would like to discuss that further. But again, the information back, there was actually 2 schools that was in favor of it. The rest of the schools literally said that, we don't need the whole week, give it to us somewhere else. But I mean, I don't know if y'all saw what the public participation was and how many, the kids were lined up, so they were there. So I don't know how, to really look at that information that we got back from the schools, because it didn't reflect at the parade.
But the parade's on Tuesday, so it would fall in.
So these days are still covered, they're still out.
We're out on Wednesday.
Yeah.
It would just be a matter if you want.
Instead of the 12th, instead of a Monday through Friday, we did a Monday through Wednesday, which covered your Fat Tuesday. And I don't know exactly when that parade was, but I'm sure it was probably on Tuesday. But that's the only, thing that I saw that might have been a little inconsistent with, the feedback that we got, which you may want to look at in your 5-day calendar.
Okay. Questions and discussion?
I guess I'll start on the other, I think it's the other 4-day schools. So one of the areas where it could have been modified is that I believe Maryville goes 30-minute lunch, correct?
Yes.
And Sanger and I think other schools as well go 25-minute lunches. So that could have been some time thought up there, and there's always some other time there you can catch up with.
We
to
cut 4
work with
minutes
it.
off that lunch at Maryville, trying to get to 4:40. So we did trim 4 minutes off of it.
So you're at 26 minutes now with the
Well,
lunch?
they had a 4-minute to get there, a 30-minute lunch, and a 4-minute to return to class. So we dissolved the 4 minutes on the front side and put it back in instruction. So it'd be, the bell would ring, the lunch period would start, it would give them 30 minutes, and then
And have y'all seen the 450 proposed calendar at any time?
Y'all should have all got it. I think they should have all got it.
We got that probably via email, I believe.
I ran copies and put them in your chair, I believe.
Yeah, y'all,
Yeah,
y'all should
maybe.
have got them today if you.
I brought a lot of papers with me today.
Lots of color.
Can I ask real quick, just this sample bell schedule, Scott and Christie, y'all can speak to this, because I just don't know for sure. What is your current dismissal time at Singer and Maryville?
Singer's 3:53. Maryville's 3:58.
And we start at
Just,
7:30.
The bell rings at 7:35 at Maryville. Singer, it rings at 7:30.
And I think another thing, because Scott and I really worked hard to try to meet in the middle and try to get there, from Mr. Ensminger, you don't want these kids getting on the bus before 6 o'clock. You don't want them getting off the bus close to dark. So that was, a concern with his as far as, moving these times to start at 7:30 or as close as we could get, to have some coherency with Singer. We just can't do it at our school. And we don't want the kids to have to get on the bus before 6 and be off that late. So I can't say we can't do it. Would it be practical? That would be a very long day for the kids. So that was, another
Yeah.
reason, suggestion.
I think our earliest pickup may be 6:08, something like that.
That's pickup. That means they gotta get up and get dressed to be
Yeah,
out.
and so ours would be earlier. We would be more like a 6 o'clock pickup.
I think the one on Barrel Loop is closer to I know she picks up one there by our house at 6 and then travels down.
What age is that? I mean, is that a kindergartner? I mean.
It
be
could be
pre-K through
pre-K
12.
through 12.
Well, we've been doing this for years, 'cause we've been going 4:49, so, I mean, so,
And also,
I would just, I don't know if I can make a motion yet, or what. I would just, instead of the 4:40 and the 5-day, I would like to make a motion just to add the 450 just for consideration. And at that point, if it's, if that fails, then I would like to just make a motion to 440 for Maryville and 450 for Singer.
Okay, so let's, what we would be doing is making an amendment to the motion. So we have a motion before us from the calendar committee. So you would, in order to do that, you would need to make an amendment to the
Okay.
motion and state what it is that you would like to amend.
So I guess it's a two-part. I'd like to amend the motion to add the 450-minute option for the 4-day.
for both schools or for your school only?
For us only,
For Singer only?
yeah, yeah. So,
Because look, I'm good if y'all can make it work. We can't do 4 minutes because our property is just too big.
yeah,
But if
so.
y'all got it.
So the amendment.
Y'all can do it.
So the amendment to the motion is to add the 450 and then to allow Singer High School to have the 450 calendar schedule and Maryville have the 440.
So our parish would have 3 calendars.
So I'm asking,
Well, if other schools,
Our
if
parish
other
would have 3
schools,
calendars.
if other schools go to 4-day, you're gonna have
Scott,
more than 2 anyway, right?
Scott, haven't we been running Maryville and
Yeah, we've
Singer
been-
running separate calendars anyway?
Yes, yes.
No,
not calendars,
not calendars,
minutes.
just
They're
minutes.
on
Minutes,
Bell's
yeah, I
schedule.
mean-
Yes, we've been running
sorry,
Bell's
minutes.
schedule.
This is gonna
Yes.
be a different calendar start and end date.
Right.
For
We haven't
Singer
done
and a
that.
different
Okay,
start.
I'm
right,
tracking.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so let me say, if Maryville could go to the 450, it's just not reasonable for us, but it would give the teachers 2 more days that we could take off of their calendar. So look, I'm all for it. It's not doable at our school, their school, they can do it, because they have the landscape to do it.
So
if
that's
it's-
that's the thought behind this, is that it adds two, it gives y'all 2 more days.
I thought it was 3, maybe just 2.
Maybe
Two or three,
Yeah, I
2 or
thought
3
it-
days,
thought it was
on
3.
extra days off.
Absolutely.
I know it's added, it's not gonna financially change anything. What it's going to change is a lot of calculations of salaries, that's differences. Because we already, if you look at our salary table now, which Ms. Crane has, we are already calculating our support salaries at 158 and 180. So now we're adding a whole nother salary table.
So it's not truly a salary then?
It's a salary, but you're looking at a daily rate instead of a yearly salary for I'm just gonna say support and certified. We'll be calculating them out pretty much 3 times per school. 3 different salary schedules.
3 different
For
salaries.
support certified. So have you seen how, can I just show that? This is just a.
So it's still the same,
No, they do
Yeah.
salaries
And
by
this is
daily
adding
rate.
another
This is
into
adding
the
another.
finance, into the software as, I mean, we'll do what we have to do for you guys, but right now, this is how we currently, right now, we're calculating it at 180 and 158. We'll have to add another whole, if we're, yes. Because
okay.
if we say we're gonna, that amount of staff is gonna go 155 days, then that's another third set of salaries we're gonna have to add to not just this, but
That's
the
right.
certified set of salaries as well. So it won't change their annual salaries, it's gonna change their
Okay.
daily rates.
It's just another whole system that you're gonna have to do versus, you know.
But your salary is paid monthly, right?
No.
We run probably 15 salaries, I'm sorry, 15 payrolls a month, because you have your semi-employees, you have your monthly employees, you have your miscellaneous payrolls, you have your board payroll. So there's
Okay.
quite a few payrolls that are all into these.
So is the daily rate for a 4-day bus driver, is it the same as daily rate for a 5-day bus driver? No,
The salary, how,
the daily rate.
a 4-day bus driver at at 158 days is 13,670. I need to do 185-day bus driver at 0 years is 14,891. So then we're gonna be adding another one, a 155, 154, whatever y'all decide, type of bus driver. So you'll essentially have a Singer bus driver, a Maryville bus driver, and a 5-day bus driver.
So bus drivers for Singer or just for Singer, bus drivers for Maryville or just for,
If y'all
any
opt to have two
crossover?
separate
Is there any crossover in bus drivers?
Currently, she's
Right
asking
now, it's
currently.
the same. Wait, what was the question?
So if you drive a bus for Singer, you just drive for Singer. You're not like
Right.
dropping off and going here to Maryville or anything. I mean, they're just, okay.
So tell me those numbers one more time. The 4-day bus driver is,
4-day, 158 days. Level 0, $13,670.
and that's 158 days.
Correct.
And on the 5-day,
180 day, level 0, 14,891.
What are you trying to do?
their rate for,
Daily rate?
Just a side note question. If a 5-day school went to 4-day, would that mean that the bus driver's salary schedule would shift to the 4 salary schedule?
So they'd be losing.
One other
You trying to
question.
put that on us?
One other question. And I know we're jumping ahead, but if we go to, you're talking about different sizes of schools, campuses. One 4-day schedule.
Right.
It's
So,
not
so
gonna
we're,
work.
It's not
So
gonna
we're
are all
gonna
of
end
those
up with
schools gonna be
multiple
able to
anyway.
maintain the 440 is my thing. So are we gonna make them do the 440 as well? And we're not gonna give them an option of changing their calendar.
They won't be able to have 3-minute transition times because you and I got
So-
the smallest
So they'll have a
schools.
so they'll have a different,
They'll have a different bell schedule. So I think that's I think that's where we're getting lost here is that we still are required to have so many minutes, and then so it's up to the principal of the school set their bell schedule so that they fall within that. So in Singer's case, they 3-minute transitions work for them, and so therefore they probably can get out 5 minutes before Maryville or whatever. And so so that's what I think we have to keep in mind is that we're required to set set the calendar and decide on the 445, 450, whatever it's going to be, and then it's up to the principals to figure out how to
How they
set
do,
their bell
yeah.
schedules. So we just got to keep that in mind.
So what I was asking a while ago, a bus driver on a 5-day route makes, at level 0, makes $86.50, excuse me, a 4-day bus driver makes higher wages. They make $86.53 per day. A 5-day bus driver actually makes less per day, $82.73. I was just kind of looking at cost.
Cord made a statement the other day. Explain or say again when we were talking about having some coherency as far as those, if any schools do decide to go to this, to a 4-day or however that comes. How will this, what kind of transition would it be if we went with this schedule?
If we go to another calendar, with Singer's
You're
calendar.
talking about like under, like DeRitter or South
Yes.
Beauregard and East Beauregard
Yes.
going to a 4-day calendar.
Yes, because that was one of the things that you had said is, the, easeability, if that's a word. We would have something in place that if it happened, that it would be an easy transition.
But we've cut it to fewer days, so that would be one part of the transition. But I'm not sure on the remaining part of it, where it would help us.
I'm trying to remember that conversation that we had as far as,
The one conversation we had was, it takes 25 minutes at South Beauregard to load the buses, and it takes about 35 minutes in DeRitter to load the buses. So, where it takes 5 at Singer and Maryville, so, you know, there was some discussion back and forth about how that would work, and, you know, you have to add 30 minutes to the DeRitter kids they're gonna get home that much later, but if you go to a true 4 o'clock day week.
I guess what I'm saying is we would like to come up with an optimal, schedule that if at one point in time that would need to be rolled over to these new schools, that it would be, something that would work, an easier transition.
Well, let's roll it back to the motion that's at hand. So the motion,
Yes, Scott, make your,
there's
Yeah,
an amendment to the motion.
right, I just made an amendment to the motion to add the 450 for consideration.
Okay. Now, I am not hearing a second from the room.
I'll second.
You'll second that. Okay. We now have a motion to amend the motion to allow for Singer only, correct? The 450 minutes per day. So that would create a third calendar and a third salary schedule.
it can be done, Ashley. From what I understand, that can be done. The third schedule and the salary. It can be done.
Two has been done, yeah. I mean, 3 can be done.
It will be difficult for accounting with one hero accountant, but, we're gonna do what y'all want. So you just tell us what you need to do.
from any of our supervisors, do y'all want to share some pros and cons of that, besides, other than what we've already heard, if there are any pros? Okay.
3 days off, days cost.
I'll say this, I just gotta say something on this.
3 days off, save costs.
I think, Miss Neely, you said earlier that, we already put so much on our teachers. We don't wanna put any more on them. How are these people any different that work up here at central office and do this stuff for us? We've got 2 calendars at work, you know? And I get where you're coming from, Scott, I do. But to add an extra calendar, to add all the extra work on these people at central, to me, that, I don't understand. That's just my opinion.
3 days.
To get 3
To get
days.
3 days.
And we're confident the 440 will work if every school goes to a 4-day.
I don't know, my school's at a 5-day.
No,
I
I'm
mean,
just
we're not-
asking.
We're not there, I mean, yeah.
That's a future thing, I'm not even thinking about that right now, that's where my mind's at. My school's a 5-day, we got 2 4s, so that's where I'm at. For the present.
Okay, so I will call a vote.
What are we voting on exactly?
An amendment to allow a third calendar for Singer for 450-minute days.
Are we voting on that amendment? Then we'll vote on the motion.
Then we'll
Then,
vote on the motion.
if
to
that
accept it or
passes, we still have to vote on,
We have to vote on the amendment first.
What are y'all?
not. Say, Mr. Archie.
I'm not telling you it's very clear.
That's what we're trying to.
Scott has made a motion to.
I think you got
When
too
does
much.
this have to be?
Yeah. Yeah, is it, don't have to be tonight, right?
We can pass 5-day and rediscuss 4-day.
I mean, we have always, look, we've done things that we've never done before, so I'm not gonna use that as a gauge. But sooner the better is definitely better.
Yeah.
They need
Also,
calendars
just
to set.
understand, like,
Look, our school
these guys have
physically
talked
can't
about
do it.
this a lot, like a lot. And so, I think that if you have some questions, like I would prefer, let's answer the questions so that we can make a decision and move on. Whether it's yay, nay, whatever, like let's make a decision. Let's not waffle about.
Right.
So,
I can't set up next year's financial software to start fiscal year '24 without at least 2 calendars.
Mr. Engineer, can we get a copy of 450 to look at?
Senator had,
Y'all didn't get a 450?
I can't find
no,
it.
sorry, I printed them, I'd like,
So it was-
because I didn't know
They were
where we were
just
going.
Okay, it was my understanding they were asked to send it out.
we
Yeah,
did.
they
We
got
did.
the email.
We got our
email.
email.
Yeah, and I didn't want to be.
You don't have it
rude.
on
My email.
Yeah, okay. Y'all need it?
And another thing people are doing, they've already started calling, have we set the calendar because it's cruises and weddings and I do get quite a few of those calls.
So could we go ahead and, if, y'all want to, could we go ahead and pass the 5-day and the 4-day?
Right
and we
now,
can continue to
right now
discuss?
on the floor is an amended motion that has
We have to
been
vote on
made
that
and
We have to
seconded.
vote on
gotta
that.
take
We have
care
to
of
make.
that
We have
first.
to vote whether or not we want to allow
Allow.
a second, and then from there we can discuss it.
And then from there, yeah.
Sorry, I'm doing your job
No,
right.
no, no, no. I'm
Says
just
sorry.
making sure we all understand where we're at, yeah.
I'm gonna let y'all, give you a couple minutes just to process what was passed out before I call for a vote. Yes.
Can I just make one little comment? So sorry. 'Cause I remember saying-
Please,
I won't say it.
She should, I mean,
We can't wait
Yeah.
for the softball game, sorry. That's okay. I won't say it.
we do like to have those before.
I can't wait for
Do
the
you,
softball game.
do you have the privilege though to allow it?
It was not about the 3 days, it was us starting at the same time and ending at the same time, because that's what our kids have been doing for the last 20 years. That's what our parents are used to. I'm gonna drop them off at this time, I'm gonna pick them up at this time, and that's the way we've done our schedule for the last 20 years, so that was all. On the comment I was gonna. It was not about 3 days off.
Okay. And I
It was
don't,
about our parents having the same schedule that they've always had.
yeah, and so I don't think anyone's asking you to go away from 3 minute
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not
no one is asking
asking-
for anyone to go away from the 3-minute bell change, so.
No, it's not about putting it
Yeah.
back to, I'm just saying, our starting time. More minutes than they're currently, 13 more minutes than they're currently going. So that wouldn't really make sense for us to just keep going 13 more minutes than they're going either.
You know,
You see what
you
I'm
know,
saying? Sorry.
you have to lean on your administrator at the school
Right,
on that one.
Yeah, you could go to 4 minutes with a longer lunch or longer recess.
Yeah, you can have an extra lunch, you can have longer RTI, you could actually have longer classroom time. So there's a lot of things y'all can do.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're already going longer classroom time. Thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion to amend the motion that would allow Singer their 450-minute calendar, which would, that's the motion, which in essence would create a third calendar and a third salary schedule for the parish.
This is to be able to discuss to pass it. It's
No,
not-
this is, we're
Amend it.
gonna amend it, and then we have to vote on the 4-day calendar that has now 2 options. And I realize that it's confusing, but it is how we have to do it.
But if the amendment fails first.
If the
then
amendment
we don't move
fails,
To the second.
if the amendment fails, we still have the 4-day
Presented.
calendar on the table that we're gonna vote on.
So I'm voting on to be voted on.
No. You're voting yes or no. There's got to have a 450 calendar.
We're voting on whether or not to allow
To allow it to.
Scott's or Singer's calendar to be considered.
To be considered.
That is what we're voting on
Okay,
right
to
now.
consider, got
To
it.
consider it.
To consider, got it. That's what I need clarity, okay.
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
I think I heard 4, so we're gonna divide the house. We're gonna start on this side of the room this time, Mr. Kibido.
I'll vote yeah to consider it.
I'm sorry,
I'll vote yea to consider it.
okay. Mr. Edler?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
No.
Yes.
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 What's the count, Ms. Archer?
6-3.
This is to consider it. Correct. Just to give everybody the option.
Well, it's to, it is to have 2 calendars for 4-day.
Yeah. Yeah, the motion is amended.
Right.
Yes.
The motion is now amended.
That's what he just said, it was just to consider it.
That's what it.
He said to consider.
Just to consider it.
It's not a yes.
It's not a yes.
It's not a yes, it's just to consider it.
So are we considering it now or later?
Yes.
Considering it now. Yeah.
Ms. Archer, what motion do you have? I hate to even ask. My,
We're gonna amend it, now we're going to have to go to motion to approve the 2 4-day and the 5-day calendars. for the
okay, so it seems like there's some confusion as to what the motion was. Is everyone in agreement with that?
Yes.
Okay.
There was confusion because I believe they thought to consider it meant at a later date,
We will discuss it
they
and
would
vote on
discuss
it.
it and vote on it, not that it would be added together and voted
Yes.
again.
To consider means let's discuss.
That's what
and have a
that's what
vote.
I'm seeing the confusion on.
Yes. That was the word, consider.
Mr.
So
Sandiford,
maybe
would you agree that everyone's confused?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so
let's.
The original amendment to the motion was to add the 450.
Yes. That is the motion. Because you do agree that there was confusion as to
Yes.
what we're voting on.
That's
We're
right.
gonna revote this.
Okay.
Okay?
I agree.
Anybody have any heartburn? Tell me now.
No, I mean, if there was confusion, there needs to be,
Okay.
understanding of what they're voting on. Yes, we definitely need to vote again.
Okay, would you state your
I'm-
amended motion one more time?
Okay,
Okay.
so proposing an amendment to the motion to add the 450-minute calendar option for the 2023, 2024 year.
So a vote in favor essentially makes 2 4-day calendars that we will have to approve, but you can't really take it off because we're putting it on there now. Okay?
I did second
And Ms. Weldon, you still have your second.
So let me understand, when we vote on this, we're voting for 2 separate 4-day calendars?
That would still need to pass approval, though,
Still
correct?
need to pass approval.
Right.
Yeah, but they would still be created.
But it would be
there,
created.
out there.
Right.
So,
Right.
so if like, with respect, I just disagree completely with having 2 4-day calendars. We are already a outlier. We're already an outlier in the parish, in the state, with having 2 calendars as it is, and so now we're wanting to add a third. And I understand as it's presented, the whys, and I completely can appreciate them 100%. But also there comes a point where we have to make a decision, and this is my opinion. We have to make a decision on just what is best. Is it going to be perfect? No, it's not. But can we get to the best for the most? And I feel like that adding a third one is just going to will continue to fracture us, and I just disagree with doing that. But like I said, I appreciate and understand the thoughts, and so also let it be known that we're only voting when we vote for a calendar. We're only voting for 1 calendar year, so we can do all this. We can literally hate it, and next year completely change it again. But as it sits today, I don't believe that it is in our best interest to have 3 calendars.
With that being said, if we open the door to every school having their own calendar, we may end up with 5 calendars.
Yep.
Just if you go down this road. So it would be better to try to stay with just a 4 and 5 day calendar that you choose between.
And I'm not saying that we need to go to 3. I'm just saying that this 450, I believe, in my opinion, is doable by Maryville. Okay, the consensus is that the 440, that's what the original number was that come up, and it's not on factual information that has already been proven, right? It's we work with the 450. We've been working with the 450, so I'm not wanting to cause issues. I'm just saying that, Singer would like their 450 because we believe it can be done, and it can be done by Maryville as well. The concerns are just what ifs. They're not actually, we can't make it or we can make it, right? We know what we've been doing, and it's doable. So that's why I'm making the amendment.
I think you make a strong case. I really do. And I think that Singer can do this, but I think it also is a big ask on the rest of the parish.
And that's fine. I just wanted to be clear.
Or Mr. Redler, whoever was.
How long is Singer's lunch?
I think it's 25.
Yeah, it's right here.
25? I'm just making sure I'm reading it.
Okay. Is everybody clear what we are voting on?
Want me to say it one more time? Or have it read back out?
Can I ask Mr. Ensminger to give us his thoughts on this?
Well, my
Since he
concern
is the
is
head of it.
tardies. We have a tardy policy, punitive if they're tardy. So, a kid runs to class, I didn't go to my locker, can I run back to my locker? Can I go back to the bathroom? So,
But we're still assuming that,
and we're
we're gonna
65%.
have those issues though, right? Because of time. We're still assuming we're gonna have those issues because of time.
Well,
Right.
I did the square footage of the campuses, and Maryville's about 55% larger than Singer. on the footprint, on the map.
Yeah, I mean, I'm good with it. Let's vote.
All right. Skip it, you mind starting again? No.
Mm-mm.
We're voting, ma'am. Sorry. Mr. Redler.
Yes.
Mr. Archie.
Yes.
No.
No.
Yes.
Ms. Weldon.
No.
Ms. Neely.
Yes.
What's your count, Ms. Archer?
5 yeses, 4 noes.
And chair votes no. So the amendment does fail. So now we have the original motion of the 4-day calendar that was presented to us. So I will call a vote on the 4-day calendar. All in favor of the 4-day calendar, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Me.
We have
Aye.
2 abstentions. Sorry,
No,
2
2 noes.
opposed.
2 noes.
Sorry.
Mr. Sam?
Yes, correct. Okay. I think that was a very productive discussion. Got a little confusing, but I think it was productive. 5-day calendar.
Mr. Bowman, I'd like to make an amendment to the calendar where we add February 15th and 16th to the Mardi Gras holiday. I'd like to, so make the Mardi Gras holiday 5 days instead of 3. And just move the start date back 1 day and the end date back 1 day to make up.
So they'll be starting on the 22nd and.
Teachers on the 22nd, students on the 24th. Honestly, the start and end date for me is, we can do whatever.
Yeah.
We can juggle it around. So like, I'm flexible on that, you know, I just would, you know, here's my reasoning. So, you know, most of our days in school are after the first of the year. Our students have good breaks in between the start of school and then they have a week off in November. They go a little bit longer. They have a nice little break in winter. And we found over the last 3 or 4 years that we've had a full week off for Mardi Gras. That it just really is a good time for our students and our teachers to take a breather and recharge and get ready for testing season. It allows them a nice break. They hit March and some of April really hard, got another little break, and then we finish school out. So it's just kind of brings equity to the calendar, in my opinion. And also, I've heard from a lot of teachers and parents that it's a cheaper time of the year to take vacations because spring break and summer, it's the 2 most expensive. Everybody's taking vacations then. So it just gives our teachers and our families opportunity to take some time away if they choose to. Some people will spend that time at the ball field, but regardless, you know, it's just something it's worked for the last 3 or 4 years. I've heard lots of positive feedback in our community about having a full week off from Mardi Gras, so I would ask you guys to consider it.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Is there a second? Ms. Weldon seconding the motion. Any other questions or comments?
Just gonna start early.
I propose just moving the start date back 1 day and moving the end date 1 day.
So school would start on Thursday, August 24th for 5-day schools.
Mm-hmm.
Add the full week of Mardi Gras, and school would end on Wednesday, May 22nd.
For students.
For students.
And 23rd for teachers.
So school start on the 24th. School ends on May 22nd.
I would rather at the beginning because I think
A lot
Okay.
of that was used for basketball. if I'm not
Make these
mistaken.
motions.
February? that time frame was basketball season.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we have a motion, we're gonna vote on that. All in favor of the motion to extend the 5-day calendar, extend the Mardi Gras break through the February 15th and 16th, thus starting school on August the 24th for students and ending school for students on May 22nd of 2024. Please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's all right.
You can't do that.
You can.
No.
You can.
You did?
Yeah, you can vote no.
Is that a yay, though? Should have been a yay to a no question? I'm sorry.
I think me and Mr. Shirley, I think we're on the same page. You voted no. It's okay. All right, so now we have a amended calendar motion on the floor as just described. All in favor of the 5-day calendar with the amended motion regarding Mardi Gras, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That is unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Engineer.
Thanks, Mr. Cord.
Where we at right now? Seven.
Do y'all want to push through this, or do we need a break?
I think the rest of them would go quick. I think the rest of them
I think so
would.
too.
The rest of
All right, item number 7, we do have a green card. So item 7 is to hear recommendations from the Finance Committee. 7A is a motion to approve awarding the bid for fencing for parish schools to Hercules Fencing Company for $240,520. So we do have a green card by Miss P.J. Crow.
That should be B. The agenda has an error. The one
Oh, yeah,
that
it sure
you
does.
speak on is a B.
Ah,
Oh, it sure is.
Good catch, Miss PJ.
Oh,
Didn't even notice it.
I didn't even notice that either.
Miss Pam, come on.
yeah, I saw it too.
I'm just
I'll
kidding.
take some
I'm
heat.
just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I'll take some heat.
With y'all.
Okay, so as discussed in the committee meeting, a motion to award the bidding for fencing. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 7B, motion to approve change order number 1 for $41,720.52 and change order number 2 for $41,528.91 for Dritter Elementary School. So we have a green card,
I filled out a green card.
but it says 7A.
I'm sorry. Will you please amend
I'm
it to
just kidding.
7B? Do we have a motion?
No, we're good.
Um,
Ms. Crow, please state your name and your address. And-
PJ Crow, 2820 Highway 394, DeRidder, Louisiana.
Thank you.
My purpose for filling out a green card, I was in attendance at the committee meeting. I did hear the discussions that were held about the change order for the new school. I wanted to fill out a green card to have an opportunity if there were any questions, if you needed the data to satisfy a question that you may have, if you wanted the rationale behind the questioning. I wanted to have that opportunity to be able to address that since it is my faculty and staff who's moving over. I wanted to be able to clarify any misconception that may have caused some confusion. So I can either prepare a statement or I can answer a question if there is a question, however you'd like to do that. I don't want to waste your time. I know you're tired.
Is it pertaining to the fence?
No, sir.
Just anything? Okay.
No, sir, just to the change order to the new school.
Back room,
Oh,
it was the
okay.
back
For
room.
the bathroom, okay.
Walking that,
Gotcha.
that floor plan.
I have a
Oh.
couple of questions.
Go ahead.
Are you still?
Go ahead, go ahead.
Okay. My questions are to the, not the bathroom part of it, but the other part.
Sure.
Now, Nikki and Garrett and Ray, you were here when this was voted in.
Yes, sir.
Up until Monday, was that a 2-grade school?
No, it was 3-grade school.
It was always a 3?
Despite our displeasure, my displeasure, I will say, it was, well, I'm not going to speak all the way back to 2019.
2019?
Yes, it was always, it was a a 3-grade school from the get.
I think originally when it was discussed, before it was actually put on the bond list, it was talked about as being a 2-grade class. But when it did get put on the bond list, it somehow became a 3.
Okay. All right. That, I did
That's
see
my
that
answer.
cleared up. And then,
But it has been a 3-grade school for
okay.
the beginning,
as I can-
for all intents and
Is there
purposes.
gonna be a gym with that school? I think.
Yes, sir.
It is gonna be a gym.
It's a gymnatorium.
Okay,
I thought
because we
were
didn't see it
sharing
on the
with
diagram.
Pinewood.
Yeah,
You're
y'all
not
said,
sharing with
somebody
Pinewood.
said the other day, y'all were sharing.
With
Yeah,
Pinewood.
somebody
We
said
have
y'all
our own
sharing.
cafeteria, our own gym.
Originally, when we first discussed the 2 grade levels, it was gonna be shared.
There's also, so just FYI, we have it in-house, it's the whole thick book of it, so, with all of the elevations and all that, so if at any time, and I think even the current projects that are still ongoing, Mr. Holly, we have those as well, so any point you wanna just review those, they are available to you, I just wanna be, you are welcome at any point to look at them.
They're in my
Just-
office as well.
Yeah, and
Okay.
so,
I
so,
have
so
plans in
y'all
my
could,
office.
'cause
I had concern because I got the word that they were gonna share. And then, and when, in my district, them
yeah.
If
You're-
they
I
hear
haven't
that, they
seen the
went
plans
berserk,
yet.
like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, hold on,
Yeah.
That's a
You know what I
legitimate
mean?
concern.
This gym
Yeah.
is just as old as I don't
Absolutely.
know what, yeah, okay.
It is a entire school, like she said, cafeteria, gym, admin wing, classrooms, art rooms, STEM rooms, the whole 9 yards. I mean, it is a.
So
it is
the
a
next-
high
ISS
school.
rooms?
Yeah, room.
We need to talk
Just
about
room.
that.
Okay.
We talk, okay.
Now, with this gym, is it gonna be large enough for both school or just one school?
It only serves the one school, and everything is fine. The gym is fine, the cafeteria is fine. The classrooms themselves, as far as the number of classrooms I have, 2 teachers, my classrooms are okay. What happened is when I received a copy of the plans, one of the things that I did is I looked at the number of teachers I had and I began to place teachers. I'm very proactive. I thought about the logistics of moving my people back and forth, placing my teachers. And so I took the present setup that I have, I placed them in the classrooms. It's built for 10 second, 10 third, and 10 first grade classrooms. We have no problem with that between Teresa Parmley and I. We've worked the classrooms. The classrooms themselves are not the issue. We're okay with that. We're okay with the gym. We're okay with the cafeteria. The problem that I have is in the present floor plan that we have, I am short a room for a gifted, talented teacher, a speech teacher, and 2 speech interventionists who service my children. That's one of the problems is I do not have room to place these people. So one of the things we're asking is to turn is it a maintenance room, Mr. Holly? Equipment room?
Can I ask for
Technology?
just a little bit of clarity?
Yeah.
This change order
Yes,
that we're voting on
yes.
already fixes those problems.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
It does.
Okay,
I'm not
okay.
asking for anything new.
Oh, I thought
We thought you were asking for
I thought you
additional
were asking
change.
Okay,
for more.
Yes. I'm asking you, please vote for the change order.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
Redirect, there you go.
Okay,
Yeah.
If you give me the change order, I can provide a place for all of my people.
Yeah.
There are some things that we still have to fix, but it is doable. It is not doable in the present
Yeah.
floor plan that we have.
Okay, okay.
I'm not asking for anything else, I promise.
Yeah.
I'm asking to give what we discussed in the change order.
Do you feel in the near future, would you need for 2 more classes or what?
No, sir, and I'll tell you why. Right now, I'm running a 21-to-1 teacher-student ratio. I'm comfortable with that. That leaves me room for growth. And to put it bluntly, if you don't give me my change order that we're asking for, I'm going to have to change from 8 teachers to service my students, my 2nd grade, to 7. That increases my teacher-to-student ratio, and that leaves me with a teacher I don't know what to do with. It's not fair to her. If you leave the change order, leaves my ratio the same. I can provide accommodations for all of the people who service my children. With one we need to work on, but it's doable.
We have room for her at
And
South
we-
if she would like to come. Just saying.
You're not getting my people.
She can come. We're arms wide open.
No. Sorry.
Okay.
I was just concerned about the, you know.
No,
future
if
growth.
we do the
Future
change
growth.
order, we have enough classrooms and we have plenty of room for growth.
Okay, because, you know, yeah, okay.
And Mr. Archibald, I want to clear up my confusion I may have given you about the gymnasium.
Okay.
Because the last plans I had seen
All right.
and was told about was that they would be sharing.
Yeah,
Which
'cause
is
that-
why I told you that. That's what I had last heard, was that they would be sharing. So I'm glad that they're not because of
Yeah.
the growth and now that we have 3
It's a
grade
beautiful
levels in there.
school, and I think it's going to draw a lot of our community, the people that we've been losing to Vernon Parish. I think it's going to do a lot to draw our people back to our
That was one of the
community.
main concern I had, because, you know, you spend much, the voters with this, you know, it's going to.
So this is essentially the same as we voted on as the whole finance committee.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
She just asked,
I
All right.
she just asked
Okay,
us.
I thought she was there.
I know
Yeah.
if I don't
She-
fill out
she-
a
she
green card, I
wants
can't
to-
speak with you.
Yeah, okay.
So I wanted to make sure that I was
She's
available
imploring
to
us to
do
accept
that.
it.
Okay, but the main thing my concern with this, I mean, she gave it to Jim for it, okay. All right.
Pocketbooks were starting to get tight.
Yeah. Thank you.
She does.
Mr. Shirley, I know you had a question kind of a while ago. Were you able to get it? I didn't want to have you cut off.
I was just, I guess I was confused because on Monday, it sounded like we were changing things because we added a grade.
Okay.
And, because you kept asking some questions, and so that's what I didn't know if this was a last minute change or when that had transpired, and I'm trying to clarify
Okay.
that. Cool. So that's fine.
You
That's
good?
Yep.
Okay. All right. All in favor of approving change order number 1 for $41,720 and change order number 2 for $41,528 for the Dritter Elementary School project, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Crowe. Where'd you go? All right, item number 8. To hear recommendations from the Policy Committee, a motion to approve school operational guidelines for Head Start 2022 and 2023. Ms. Hamilton, thank you for putting that together the other night. That was a very good document. Any questions? All in favor of approving the motion to school operational guidelines for Head Start for 2022, 2023, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 9, consider meeting dates for April. So I'm here, I think. What is the date? I didn't put this on. Mr. Holly. On April 9th, or April committee meetings?
Monday, April 10th.
The 10th, this is during spring break, so this is the day after Easter.
Okay.
Monday, April 10th, a holiday?
That's the spring break week.
Committee, we are question.
So,
Break is the 7th through the 14th. So the first Thursday would fall under April the 6th. And then, excuse me, yes, that's correct. So it would be the second Thursday, sorry, we do a spring break.
but central office staff is here on the 13th.
12th, 13th, and 14th.
Okay. So the issue is more the committee meeting on the Monday.
10th.
We could decide to do
Okay.
them both at the same time.
So that, we have done that before, where we take the committee meeting on Monday, we combine it into one big meeting, or we can actually do 2 separate meetings still on Thursday. Sometimes we have done, well, sometimes we've done a Tuesday, Thursday, but in this situation, that would not help.
Would it be possible to consider just pushing it back a week, the whole thing?
That's what I'm thinking, either move it up or move it back.
Because I'm gonna be out of town that week anyway, so I wouldn't even be able to be here.
I would suggest, based on, decide to move it, based on time frame, earlier rather than later.
Yeah.
Say the 3rd and 6th.
3rd and 6th.
Yeah, the 3rd, anybody got anything on the 3rd or the 6th for y'all schedule?
Got committee meetings and stuff, got school board meetings on the 3rd and 6th.
Maybe you're on the
You do? Okay, so do I.
Okay, what about having our one meeting on Thursday, April the 6th.
So do both.
I know, that's Good Friday.
That's the day before
That's the
Good
day
Friday.
It's day before Good Friday.
And I'm actually leaving on the 6th, so.
I'm just gonna be easy, I'm open anytime.
What about the 3rd? Can
do
we
it
just
all
meet
on-
on the 3rd?
Y'all just
Yeah,
tell
to
me
do it
when
all on
to
the
be.
third.
All on the 3rd. Does the 3rd work for everybody? We can do it all on the 3rd?
Can we split it and do April the 4th? 'Cause
I could do April.
You can do the
April
4th?
4th.
Ms.
Let's do
Lafitte
April
can't do the
4th.
3rd. I can't do the 3rd either.
Okay. I mean, I can.
I'm seeing some yeses. You're the 4th.
Do 4th.
Tuesday.
We do the whole thing?
Yes.
I honestly think we really need to meet anyway early, so this is probably a good thing,
wanna do
because of
it-
the bond projects.
April the 4th, 2-day section.
April the 4th, we would probably just combine it and make one agenda.
Yeah, one of them, one good.
One agenda instead of doing 2 official meetings. Okay. I think I probably need a motion because this is a. Oh.
I had to double check. I wondered, yeah, I think, okay, do you have to have things come through the committee, or are you gonna bypass the, if we bring a policy, we're just gonna go straight to the board, discuss it, and be done with it, and bypass
I
it?
thought we were doing like committees
We do
at one
committee first,
before
and
and
then
then do
board.
board.
You gotta give time on that.
If you have a committee, adjourn your committee, and then go to your
Right.
board, you're good as great.
Yeah, that's what
But
I
if you're
was
doing
understanding.
One big thing.
I thought we were doing committees and adjourned
Actually, can we
committees.
have financial reports on the 4th? Is that doable?
You will not have sales tax on
We won't have sales tax.
Just trying to keep it.
I
So-
can get you sales tax at a later date,
Yeah.
I just know that that's not, I do not receive them that, hey, if I have them, I'll get them for you, but I can't,
Mr. Jocelyn,
I can't produce them if I don't.
I'm almost sure that the committee, that step is just for information purposes. I'm almost certain you can go straight to your full board and do the action.
well, that's what I thought too. I thought you were saying we couldn't.
Can I ask you a question?
Okay. Yes.
About bond, so are you coming that meeting with your list to be voted on?
I
Because
think-
Ms. Carey has to meet.
I think we have to, we're gonna have to have another meeting anyway before April, whatever the date was. So we would definitely need to finalize a list by April the 6th.
I mean, I expected that too. I mean, it's just too much. We have, there's no way that we could do that and it's not possible.
Is 2 weeks, since we were all busy this week, is 2 weeks or a week enough for, I think y'all, DeRitter was gonna divide and conquer to get with your schools?
We've done,
Done.
I mean, we've
Y'all
done our
already done
stuff.
it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Carlos and I ran into each other today, so, yeah, we've done.
So I'm gonna go ahead and, before we make a motion, I'm gonna go ahead and, this could change our dates a little bit. So we did have 3 candidates applying for the superintendent. That is now down to 2. So Mr. Joey Bartz did remove his application. So we only have 2. And the reason I bring that up right now, instead of saving it to the very end, is, we could have a slight time, although I really would hate to do that during the superintendent interviews, but we could talk a little bond for a short time, as long as we stuck to time constraints. And we don't necessarily have to decide anything. I would not do that. But we could also add it to that meeting that we're gonna have on the 21st of March to talk about bond some. So, because we will have one less interview.
Frees
I'd
up
be
an
fine
hour
with
and
that.
15 minutes, yeah. I mean, and we're basically submitting these, so, yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have to change some interview times.
That's what I was
Yeah.
asking.
Didn't foresee this conversation coming up, or we would have alerted you that beforehand. You as well, Mr. Holly. Okay, so if we're gonna move the April meeting, I do need, since it's a regular meeting, I do need to have a motion to move the April meetings to April the 6th.
No.
April fourth.
Fourth.
I make a motion to move the, April meeting to the fourth.
Second.
Okay, so I have a motion by Ms. Neely and a second by Ms. Lafitte
I got it.
I was about to say it.
in one meeting. Okay. No committee meetings.
One board.
One more
meeting.
meeting.
Is that okay?
Yes.
Is that legal?
It's legal.
I'm 99% sure, yes.
We've been in big trouble if, in the past, and if it wasn't. So.
You've always, if you've had a scheduling conflict on the calendar that falls, it's always, in my 8 years up here, you did the committee, adjourned, took a 10-minute break, came back and did the board. But I'm not saying that has to happen. I think the board meeting itself can suffice to get your action done legally.
We haven't always done it like, we have combined them all into one meeting. Ms. Archer's like, yeah.
Mr. Gray used to be a big proponent of that.
Yep.
Do one meeting.
I miss his efficiency. Anyway, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Is it like
Okay.
global in the meeting?
Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
And thank you,
Things that we're not.
especially all three of you involved with the calendar committee.
Yes, thank y'all.
March 21st.
The interview.